Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. It's good to be with you today. This is Friday before Easter, and I hope that you're excited about the Easter. And that's what I'd like to talk about today, just briefly. The story of the resurrection, part of it anyway, from John chapter 20. And beginning with verse 11. Mary was standing outside the tomb crying as she wept. She stooped and looked in. She saw two white-robed angels, one sitting at the head and the other at the foot of the place where the body of Jesus had been lying. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" the angels asked her. "Because they've taken away my Lord," she replied, "and I don't know where they've put him." She turned to leave and saw someone standing there. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" Jesus asked her. "Who are you looking for?" She thought he was the gardener, and she said, "Sir, if you've taken him away, please tell me where you've put him, and I'll go and get him." Mary Magdalene was a woman who had met Jesus years ago, a woman who was not perfect, a woman who was, in all the description of the Old Testament law, a sinner, and a really bad one at that. But Jesus changed her life, and she became one of his most devoted followers. And it's her story that I just read here about that day so long ago when Jesus rose from the dead. And it says that she goes to the tomb and she sees it's open and she looks in and the body's gone. You know, she didn't understand what the resurrection stuff Jesus had talked about really meant. Nobody did. A lot of people today still don't, actually. It's kind of strange. We've had over 2,000 years to think about it and hear about it. And so she says two angels. I'm assuming she knows they're angels. Maybe she doesn't. But she sees somebody standing at the head and the foot of the place where the body had been lying. And they ask her, so, "Woman, why are you crying?" It's interesting. She doesn't say, "Because my Lord is dead," or "they killed my Lord." What she said is, "They've taken him away, and I don't know where he is." See, she came back the morning of the resurrection to finish the job of preparing the body. They didn't have enough time on Friday. Sundown was coming, and Jewish law wouldn't let them touch a dead body after sundown. So she and some other ladies came back to finish their duty, honoring this man, or so they thought. And she says, "I don't know where they've put him." So she goes out of the tomb, and she sees someone standing there, and it's Jesus, but she doesn't recognize him. She thinks he's the gardener. And she says to him, "If you've taken him, please tell me where you took him, and I'll go and get him." See, she's not expecting a miracle here. How could she? Nobody had ever done this before. There was no model in her mind, in her way of thinking. There was just the grief and the agony over the death of the man she called Jesus. And if you read more in the story, you'll see that Jesus identified himself, or I don't know, made himself, revealed himself. I don't know what he did. And Mary did recognize it. And she goes and tells the disciples, and son of a gun, they don't believe her either. But you have this mixed picture of grief, and sorrow, and elation. You see, when Jesus rose from the dead, everything changed. Everything. Everything had new meaning. There was now a hope that had never been before. There was now something to look forward to and to the power of God at work that had never been even suspected before. You and I live in the post-resurrection time. Jesus has already risen. We'll celebrate that Sunday, but we're not we're not celebrating something that we read about. We're celebrating a living event that changed history and changed people. And so Mary gives us the beginning understanding of what this resurrection meant. You see, when she realized it was Jesus, now I don't know why she didn't recognize him. That's a whole nother topic, and maybe I'll get to it one of these days. But when she recognized him, all of a sudden her world changed. It changed from sorrow and despair to joy and happiness and excitement. And the same thing happens for you and me when we allow Jesus to come into our lives, when we see him, and not just the first time, but every time. He's constantly working to make you and me a better person. See, the Lord wants what he wants from us is more than we can imagine. But little by little by little, we get closer and closer and closer to the goal of living that life that brings total honor to God. Now, I don't know what you're doing today, and I don't mean right this minute. I don't know how you're living your life. You'll have to assess that. I'm I'm really quite busy assessing my own. I don't have time to assess other people's. I have to figure out, am I living the way God wants me to live? And so do you. But the neat thing about all of this is if I'm not left to my own doings. Somehow God isn't going to abandon me. And even when I feel abandoned, I'm not. As Corrie ten Boom's sister in her book about the Holocaust said, however deeper life goes, Jesus is deeper still. So wherever you are in life, way at the top, down at the bottom, doesn't matter. You can always rise above the occasion. You can be that person God wants you to be. It's all possible. It's all within the realm of possibilities. God wants more for you than you've ever imagined. Just like in this story, God was doing something in Mary's life that she never dreamed of. And had he told her ahead of time, she couldn't have imagined it. Reminds me of my favorite book, the prophet Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 5. Look out, wonder, and be astounded, because I'm doing a work in your life that you wouldn't believe, even if I told you. So this Easter, I invite you to get up, get out of whatever it is that you're struggling with, and go meet Jesus. He's waiting for you. Just like Mary came out of the tomb, there he was. When you're ready to reach out for him, bingo, there he is. It's really true, folks. I hope you'll find that joy and happiness that Mary found on the first resurrection day. Well, thanks for listening. Hope you have a great day. If there's anything we can do to help out, give us a call. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to minister to your need. God bless you. I'll talk to you again.